Hello everybody, I'm Klaus and welcome again to 3 Minutes Only, my running online interview series. And today we are at session number 11. My guest today is a musician from Oakland, very close to San Francisco. He's a singer of a band which was founded in 1984, and he joined the band the very first time in 1985. So please welcome David White from US thrash metal band HEATHEN. Hi, David. So great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right.
David,
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. I got you not in Oakland, but on the East Coast, right? So, like always,
Well, yeah.
my very first question, how's the weather at the East Coast?
Well, we're in Florida right now, and um, it's warm and humid, but there's another little tropical storm coming in. We had a we had a good downfall last night, a bunch of rain and thunder and lightning, which is actually I really love lightning, thunder. So my dog Gibson doesn't like it, but uh, I sure love it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was a beautiful morning, and it's clouding up, but it's nice. I love it here.
Yeah, in Germany, and especially in Bavaria, it's very foggy in the morning, and yeah, the sun came out, and it was a nice afternoon. But yeah, autumn is coming slowly. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
David,
know, but
3 minutes. David, 3 minutes only. We don't have much time, so I think we start with our questions. Um, David, looking at the history of Heathen, there were a lot of changes of stuff. Musicians came in and left the band. Others, like you, left and joined the band a few times. Can you summarize, from your point of view, the way of Heathen from your beginning in 1985 till today?
Well, like you said, I mean, we've had some different band members for sure, but it's been like really iconic times. So in the beginning, actually, I joined the band in 1986 after leaving Blind Illusion, um, and that was with Doug Piercy and Eric Wong and Lee and Carl Sacco, Lee Altos and Carl Sacco. And then within that year, we made a change at the bass department and brought in Mike Yastrzemski, and that was the lineup for the Breaking the Silence record, and a lot of shows during that time. But then we went through a lot of crazy stuff with management, and there's a lot of change, and that's when Mike left the band, and we went through a few different bass players over that time, and even when we finally did a record deal to do Victims of Deception, we didn't have a bass player at that time. And I had asked my friend Mark Biederman, who actually started, with the bass guitar. I asked if he would come in and do the bass track so that we'd had a real bass presence on the record. And so he agreed, and he played on most of it. Doug and Lee played a few songs on the bass, and then Hypnotize actually has no bass. But that was an interesting time as well. And then when we did the tour, we brought in Randy Laird. He was a young guy from Sacramento area, great guy, and he was a great fit for the band. And we had a great time touring with Sepultura and Sacred Reich. But then coming back from that tour, Randy and his girlfriend got in a car accident, and we lost Randy. He died in that car wreck. So there was a lot of changes. So we've had a lot of different things happen over the years, and sort of cut to the chase now. We lost John Torres as well, and Jason Brybrooks was in the band, but with this hiatus, he started doing some work with Exorder. So we brought in Jason Mirza and Darren Mentor, who left the band a few years back. During the time that we were writing this new record, we didn't have a drummer as well. So it's been a lot of things, but the mainstay has been Lee and I. We've kept the Heathen presence, and then bringing Craig into the band. I believe in what was it, 2007, I think. He's definitely a solid member, and and then we have Jason now and James Di Maria, and we'd like to hope that that's going to be a solid foundation for years to come. But we'll see. Who knows?
Okay, David. A few days ago, Heathen released after 2010 their new album Empire of the Blind. Empire of the Blind. It's for me an absolutely blast, really. And since years, the members of Heathen are also very busy in other bands. Can you explain the idea and the reason of recording a new album?
The reason to record a new album?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been, after doing the Evolution of Chaos, it was pretty well received, and we did a lot of touring with that record, and we built up, a lot of momentum. But we also struck a beautiful record deal with Nuclear Blast, which is basically, I mean, it's probably the best situation for us to date. And it took us a while to get that record done because Lee and Craig were touring a lot with Exodus. But that was always the focus, is to get on with it and do another record. And, we'd like to shock the world and do another record as soon as possible, to keep the momentum going.
Okay. David, your colleague Craig Lum on the guitar wrote most or completely all of the songs on Empire of the Blind. That means, just from my understanding, he composed the lyrics plus the melody and so on. And how did your interpretation of the vocals flow in the songs?
Well, yeah, Craig, he wrote this whole thing. This is his opus, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But he just understands our approach, and with the vocals, he gave it a real, concerted effort, to with me in mind when he was writing it. And so when I worked on the material, I was able to give it my flavor, going through the different things with the melodies, and smoothing certain things out, the way that I would do it if I had written it, and the way I would attack it as a singer, and so there was a lot of discussion with that, and that, a lot of that happened in the studio, where we talked about how I would do certain things, and he was very receptive, and with Zeus there, we just wanted to find the best way to go about it. I felt very comfortable. It was very different to come at it with Heathen, from somebody else's perspective lyrically, because I've been the main lyric writer in the band. But it was a nice breath of fresh air, and basically got a break from that. And he did a great job, and I loved the songs, and it was a pleasure to sing them. Once I started singing them and working on the material at home, that's where I really grew to love it and love singing it. And once I can feel it like that, that's everything to me.
Yeah, this will be my next question. When you came together for the rehearsals, you came together in a studio, or sent you the recording files via internet?
Yeah, it was. We did this thing all like sort of virtually, because we all live, in different places in the country, and I was still back in California during that time. And so, yeah, I got all the files and different things, he sent me stuff. And then in the studio, we hashed out, what we wanted to do with the music and the lyrics and everything, even the drums. There was a lot of building, as far as what was going to happen. Because, Craig had this vision, and he laid down a lot of stuff. He laid down vocal tracks himself. So, there was this huge roadmap. But, we definitely, all of us have our own interpretation of things. But it had to happen in the studio, because it would have been too difficult to pull us all together for like rehearsals like we would do that we've done in the past. It was a very different process this time.
Okay. David, the last question. Which is your very personal advice for all the people outside regarding the present pandemic?
Be smart, be safe, do everything you can to be safe and to keep others safe. You know, I think that science is important, and I think you need to believe the scientists, not the politicians. You know, wear a mask if it's going to help. It's probably our best defense. You know, whether you like wearing it or not, just do it. It's not that big of a deal. We want to get back to you know, playing shows and living life the way, you know, we like to live. And you know, if anything, we should learn from this, you know, this experience, because you know the planet is healing a little bit while we're, you know, shutting down a bit. Um, and you know, my biggest fear is that we'll get back to normal and people will go back doing the things that are not productive to the planet and to the human race. So everybody just be safe, and most of all, be patient and kind to each other.
Yeah, thank you, David, for this comment. And yeah, time is up. 3 minutes only, David. Thanks for your time. I wish you and the band all the best. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I hope to see you with all the members of Heathen on tour next year, anywhere in Germany. So thanks again for your time. Thanks to make it possible, and I wish you a great Monday. Thank you, David.
Oh, thank you so much, Klaus. That was awesome, and thanks for having me. And I know that was more than 3 minutes.
I know that. Thank you.